Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming here. It's always a pleasure to see a full auditorium. We are still recovering from the COVID and from online to offline. So thank you very much for being here. And we are also joined by many people on Zoom who want to attend this event but are not able to come here. So welcome everyone who's joined online as well. Today is a very special day as an oncologist for us. It's celebrated as a World Cancer Day, and one might wonder, why would you like to celebrate World Cancer Day? But it's an important day for all of us because this is a day where, at least for one day in the year, we are able to talk about this cancer in a public forum where everybody is listening to us. And the event today that we have planned is focused around how do we prevent cancer. So cancer prevention, and why is it such a burning issue right now, is all of you know that the incidence of cancer is quite a lot in India. It's increasing rapidly. We are seeing more and more patients of breast cancer, cervical cancer, head and neck cancer, and lung cancers coming to us. And what is frustrating for all of us as oncologists is a large number of these cases can be prevented. As high as 50% of the cases can be prevented by taking right steps at the right time. Today, we are here to launch the Cancer Prevention Initiative by Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation Hospital, and we are very happy that you are joining us here today. While we are going to talk about how do we prevent cancer and how do we sort of treat it more efficiently, and we are here to treat, we also have to focus on what does the patient experience and what the patient goes through. A major part of patient's journey is not just the physical problems that they face, but also emotional, psychological, social, financial issues that they face due to cancer and cancer therapy. And I'm really happy to say that since last more than 5 years, we've been running a cancer support group called We Can to exactly cater to these needs of the patient. During COVID, the cancer support group moved completely online, and I'm really happy that my colleague Mazabine, who's from the rehab team, has been helping me a lot in sort of setting up this entire group and running it. And we are going to launch offline events also. And today being one of the first events here. So every month now, Wednesday, second Wednesday of the month, we are going to meet physically, and fourth Saturday of the month, we are going to meet online. And the aim is to bring the cancer patient community together and provide support to them, as well as use that as a platform to educate them about cancer prevention and cancer diagnosis and therapy. So I'm really happy that the We Can community, many of them have joined online. So welcome to all of you. So on today's agenda, apart from celebrating the World Cancer Day and launching our cancer prevention program, we're also very proud and happy to say that today we are celebrating the 8th anniversary of the Radiation Oncology Department. Exactly 8 years ago on 4th Feb 2015, we treated our first patient. And it's been an amazing journey since then. And thanks a lot to the whole radiation oncology team sitting here, and some of them couldn't make it today, that we are here to support our patients. So that's going to be the agenda of the day. I hand over to Dr. Vijay Haribhakti, Director of Oncology at Sir H.N. Reliance Foundation, to take the event forward.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. It is indeed our greatest privilege to welcome you here on this very, very important day. As Prasad said, why do we celebrate World Cancer Day? Now, World Cancer Day is an important day in the calendar of oncology internationally. It's a day which has been anointed by the Union Internationale Against Cancer in Geneva, Switzerland. And the message, and there is a message going for 2 years in succession. So the message this time for the second year is close the care gap. Now, this statement can be interpreted in many ways. It is largely designed to cover the inequities that exist in the way cancer care is available to patients all over the world. So yes, we do need a lot of emphasis on varieties of treatment getting available to patients of all types and of all socioeconomic groups. However, we chose to interpret it in yet one more way. We want to close the inequities of emphasis. All of us, through our training, are taught to treat. We are all tutored how to treat the disease and how to manage the patient. We are never given any cogent lessons on how to stop it. And therefore, when we were asked, what do you want to keep as your theme for this year? We thought a bit, and then we all agreed to prevention. And why prevention? The slogan says it all. You prevent cancer and you preserve life. So it is an extremely important completion of the entire loop of care. We want to go from prevention to treatment to palliative care that closes the entire loop of treatment, and that's where we want to be. So as Dr. Prasad said, we've had 8 wonderful years, and I think it has been very, very educative for us to really go from strength to strength. And I must say, today was possible entirely by a phenomenal and spontaneous teamwork that we have over here from all the 3 wings, that is radiation oncology, medical oncology, and surgical oncology. So it's formal, but I will say it. I think it is important to begin with a very, very sincere thank you to every single member of the department, to all people who have supported the event, to the administration, to the administration, to Dr. Tarang, who has always been very, very supportive of all initiatives. And this is really one she has supported wholeheartedly. I also want to record my thanks to the entire marketing team who have helped us put together all the visuals and all that you see here. So let me introduce the event by just saying we had to pick up a simple mnemonic that helps us to remember what are the elements of prevention. And so I'll just say them to you. It came up as an epiphany of sorts, and we wrote it down, and here it is. So we've called the campaign Seeds, planting the seeds of good health. And let me expand the word seeds in this context. So S stands for the most important thing that we are all committed to, which is shun tobacco. Shun tobacco in every possible form, whether it's smoked tobacco or chewed tobacco or any other form of tobacco intake, it is harmful. There is not one redeeming factor about tobacco, and it is singularly responsible for 50% of all cancer incidents and of all cancer-related death. So the very first S is shun tobacco. The next is E. E is eat correctly. We often overlook the importance of the right kind of diet. And we're going to have a panel discussion later where it'll come out that there are many, many natural elements that are important for cancer prevention. We also should realize that a balanced diet, even if we consume a non-vegetarian diet, it should be proportionate. In fact, this is a recommendation that comes from many health societies, and certainly all the major health societies in the United States, which has led 2/3 of your plate be full of vegetables and fruits. So it is very important to realize that eating correctly is important. The next E is exercise regularly. And that is one thing which has been found to make a huge difference, not only to cancer progression, but also to cancer incidence, for example, breast cancer. The next alphabet is D, which is dump obesity and excess alcohol. Now, the importance of achieving and maintaining the ideal body weight is kind of thought about by all of us as a cosmetic need, but it is not only cosmetic. Let me tell you, it is very, very important. In fact, research tells us that fat that accumulates in the organs is in fact highly responsible for inflammatory responses and for the origin of cancers. For example, breast cancer. And the final S, seeds, stands for stay vigilant. And that is what the whole effort is going to pan out to be. Stay vigilant, whether it is the genes, whether it is the environment, whether it is the habits, whether all those things. If anyone is exposed to any major risk factors, it is important that one should be vigilant and submit oneself to a regular checkup. So this is in a very short gist of the effort as we have thought about it. And it is so wonderful to have all of you here with us to share this point of beginning. It may sound like the obvious thing to do, but I think we realize that when it comes to prevention, we have taken a long time to take this stand, and our institution, our hospital, our department is now going to bring in prevention as a very major component of cancer management. So thank you so much for being here. We have a very interesting evening ahead, and let me now go on to the next thing. I've talked about this campaign, which is called primary prevention, which is you don't see the cancer at all. But then there is yet another type of prevention, which is called secondary prevention or early diagnosis. And I would request my colleague, Dr. Sewanti Limaye, the Director of Medical Oncology, to please come and address us. Yeah.
So I'm Sewanti. I lead the medical oncology division and the precision oncology division here. I'm honored to be standing here this evening and participating and co-leading this event. But I'm truly inspired by Dr. Haribhakti sir choosing this topic for the World Cancer Day. And I'll just in a moment share why. Because when we take prevention as our goal, as our motto, it's pre-cancer. It's actually pre-oncology. It is something that only a thinker can think. And I told sir that this was the passion with which he has been driving this event. And it's actually, I'll let him describe. It's a longitudinal effort that the hospital wishes to take with a seminal meeting this evening. It's a true honor to be participating in such a large vision. And I think he must have really considered many, many different goals for the World Cancer Day. And he must have been, and he truly says he has been thinking of prevention for a while. And I'm amazed at the thought, because out of everything that we could have chosen do mammograms, do prostate examinations, send shuttles out to do camps and on-site screenings. Out of all of that, he chose to look at preventing cancer, both primary and secondary preventions. And I think that's a huge undertaking. It's a large goal. It's a very brave goal to pursue. And who other than Dr. Vijay Haribhakti to have thought of this very large canvas and huge horizon. And yes, I agree with the clap. This deserves a huge applause for sir. In sync with what has been introduced by Dr. Prasad Dandekar, my dear colleague and friend, and Dr. Haribhakti, I will just take this a step forward in what is there in the fight against cancer. So I am a medical oncologist. I mostly take care of patients. So 2/3 of cancers are still diagnosed in advanced stages. We still take care of patients who have non-curable disease. And for me, the idea of prevention is so attractive. It is the fruit that you can never have. Why is that so? Because once diagnosed, the battle is very different. Once diagnosed, even with early diagnosis or late, the energy that you need to spend in treatment, emotional, physical, monetary, of each kind, every kind, is actually very different from the energy that could be spent for prevention. So this is the right kind of war to fight. If we have to fight a war against cancer, it has to be with primary prevention. It has to be with secondary prevention. It has to be prevention. What war we are fighting at this juncture is actually treatment. And for me, that is a battle that I lose every day, because I fight for advanced stage patients. Those are the patients that make it to me. So it's great to have you all here in this convention to mark the start of a great journey. In saying that, the role of secondary prevention, wherein we are looking at early diagnosis, is also very critical. I feel we need to get the word out. We need to raise awareness. We need to make screening measures a routine, not just in our center, but in the masses, in tier 2, tier 3 cities. How will that happen? It will only happen by measures like these, where there is a huge undertaking of raising awareness in the masses. When we talk about prevention, we are still limited to certain disease conditions where we have prevention directed screening measures as a part of the screening SOP, standard operating procedure, that patients should undergo. For example, for a woman, we talk about breast cancer screening, we talk about cervix cancer screening, maybe uterine, ovarian, maybe oral cavity, but what about the other cancers? Similarly, in a male, we are talking oral cavity, lung cancer, we're talking prostate cancer, but people do get other type of cancers. Are there any screening measures happening? Then, since I am a precision oncologist, which means biomarker-driven treatment, so every tumor talks to the oncologist. You have to understand what are the biomarkers, what are the driving pathways of that tumor above and beyond histopathology. And if you can direct the therapy according to that. But is there a role of precision in prevention? Is there a role of personalizing the prevention? And I think a huge movement is now beginning because cost is involved. If we do prevention with an umbrella standard of care operative procedure, we will be testing more than less. So nuanced ways of testing have to evolve. One of the new novel methods that has come into play, which we are looking at supporting in different ways, both as research as well as tests that we will be offering at our center, would also be liquid biopsy-based cancer detection. So a lot has been happening in this area, and we intend to participate in personalizing precision in prevention measures by engaging in research methods and trials which offer these tests at our center, and also commercial availability of approved tests at our center. So it's no longer just the mammogram, just the pap smear, just the ultrasound for a woman. It's also beyond that. It could be a blood test. When I mentioned personalizing prevention, there could be a person who may come with a family history. And I see this all the time after the fact. 6 members in the family had cancer. Did the patient who presented to me, was that patient ever told that they could go to do a germline testing and try to screen their cancers better to prevent the cancer from happening? Many times, no. In the same patients, you may see 3 cancers happening. It is only with the 3rd cancer that the patient came to me, or the 4th cancer. No one tested the gene. So I think the expanse of precision and expanse of prevention has just begun. The war has to gather momentum. And I think all of us can at least do that, contribute from our side, be the torch bearers of the message, and we have to lead with example. So the first thing we have to do is to get in a gathering and talk about prevention. And I thank you all for making it here today for the discussion of primary and secondary prevention. We really hope that we will be able to put up strategies for prevention that will not only touch the lives of our patients, but way beyond our center, and that we will be able to serve community at large in cancer prevention. Thank you so much. We have a great evening coming. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sewanti. While we have been talking about cancer, the focus always is revolving around oncologists. And then we talked about how the focus should be on patients. I want to diverge that focus now to very important another system that we have. Oncologists cannot help cancer patients unless we have the support structure. And I want to give a big thank you to all the various departments and specialists who help us to make sure that our patients are safe and are doing well. To give you a simple example, when you talk about head and neck cancers, the oncologist will remove the tumor, but what happens to the area that is left behind? How does the patient eat? They may not have the mandible or they may not have the bone there. And we have an excellent plastic surgery team under the guidance of Dr. Yadav here, who does almost magical surgeries where patients are not only restored functionally, but even aesthetically. There are patients where I have to really ask them, are you sure you had the surgery? They're that well restored. And, again, important functions like speech and swallowing. In breast cancer patients, it's very important that if the patient has had the surgery, then we restore her contour of the breast. Otherwise, that's going to be a reminder for her life that she has had cancer. So we are very happy that we have plastic surgery team here with us, which does almost magical work for our patients. So thank you very much, madam, and your team. We need great support from the dental team who make sure that our patients maintain good dental hygiene and they keep eating. We may do fantastic job of curing their cancer, but if they don't have teeth or their teeth are bad, they won't be able to eat. It impacts quality of life. We have a great support from rehabilitation team. We in fact run a program which is unique in India called Onco Rehab program, which involves, first of all, psychological support. And Mazabeen, I don't see her here. I don't know where she is. Oh, she's there. Mazabeen has been a great savior for our patients from mental health point of view. She has been counseling them. We have our psychiatrist, Dr. Avinash D'Souza here, who looks after our patients when they have treatment, when they need treatment. Of course, we have physiotherapy, speech and swallowing therapy, and dietitian who takes care of the patient. So it's not just about the oncologist who's looking after the patient, but we need an entire, a team to go through this treatment and support our patients. So thank you very much for everyone who's here and all the other departments such as radiology and lab and everyone else who supports us in doing this. Reliance Foundation Hospital also is one of the very few hospitals which actually does site-specific treatment. So while Dr. Haribhakti does breast cancer and head and neck cancers, we have all other specialists who do a treatment which is very specific and site-specific. So for example, we have Dr. Marzi Mehta who does thoracic oncology, Dr. Shrikant who does mainly uro-oncology, we have Dr. Paresh Jain who does GI oncology, Dr. Saumil Vyas who does mainly hepatobiliary, Dr. Nikhilesh mainly does breast and head and neck. So we are offering our patients not just the cancer therapy, but really the specialist care, which is very, very important when it comes to treatment of cancer. It's not a generalist approach. And of course, Dr. Sewanti focuses mainly on the precision oncology part of it. So we are very blessed. I mean, people ask me, Prasad, how is it working at RFH? And I said, more than all the infrastructure we have is the team that we have here, which is really amazing from the patient's point of view. So thank you everyone here who has been supporting our patients and helping the oncology team to grow leaps and bounds. So thank you very much. A big shout out to everyone here. We are expecting our chief guest to arrive in a few minutes. I wanted to ask if anyone want to share something while we await their arrival, any experiences or. Bezabin, do you want to share something about the cancer support group or what has been your role in providing mental health support to patients? You love to talk, I know that.
Good afternoon, everyone. And I thank Dr. Prasad for starting with the initiative of the Onco Support Group and thinking that I was worthy enough to be a part of it. And in our Onco Support Group, what we want to do is we want to do more than just having a conversation. We're looking at helping them build up their social connect. We want them to be more aware. We're looking at the emotional aspect. And we want to make sure that every aspect of the individual's life is covered. Not just the emotional, not just the physical, but holistic well-being. Because when we talk about health, health needs to be looked at from every angle, every aspect possible, not just one aspect at a time. And that is what makes a human being, both physically, emotionally, even aesthetically. And I think to have such a platform and to be a part of such a platform and to be able to stand among such stalwarts and being able to say a few words, I think it's an honor in itself. Thank you so much.
I give it over to Dr. Sewanti.
Can never leave the podium alone. So I thought while we are waiting, I can talk a little bit about some of the newer tests that have come in prevention. So when we talk about early diagnosis, we have to think of what are the common cancers. And oral cavity cancer, both in male and female, still is in the hit list. And when I came back to India 6 years ago, I had a lady cook. And I could see all the time that one of her cheeks was always bulging. That's when I understood that she was chewing tobacco. And I would run after her and tell her, Lakshmi di, usko nikal do. Lakshmi di, usko nikal do. Because of how we have learned this science. And head and neck, I later realized, is very much an Indian disease. When we talk about head and neck cancers, a lot of cancers happen in the pharynx, larynx. Largely 90% of the time, I end up seeing oral cavity cancers. Those are the cancers that are very big, tough to treat, and the ones that make it to us as medical oncologists from the surgeons. And it was a slow realization that it was chewing tobacco that was prevalent at such high frequency levels in all our households. And I am always constantly running after the staff to see who is chewing. You know, that may be my driver, that may be the guard, the doorman. It's always been a fight because you're trying to prevent, and anything, whatever we say for this, for the chewing tobacco, for the smoking or any other kind of tobacco utilization is less. And I think today, if we were to really think of one carcinogen amongst all for different malignancies that we deal with, it would be tobacco. Some of us actually are not familiar that low-dose CT scan for chest screening, yearly chest screening is now a routine. It is now approved as a screening measure for all males who have had history of smoking or are current smokers. So you have to put that as a screening SOP and do yearly chest low-dose CT scans for those at risk. The one thing, you let me know if we have the guest. So the one thing that we realized very recently, 50% of all, so we have in lung cancers, we have large adenocarcinoma representation, and 50% of all adenocarcinomas are actually non-smoking related. So in a very recent big presentation at European Society of Medical Oncology, we learned that 45,000 patients were followed, people were followed, and epidemiologically speaking, EGFR positive, so a driver mutation positive lung cancer that is seen in 25 to 30% of all adenocarcinomas of lung are as a result of environmental pollution. So pollutants, dust particles above 2.5 micron in size, which would be the thick smog that we read about in a lot of Indian cities, including now in Mumbai, was found to be directly related to cancer causation. And that's why in Asians, we see a large predilection of non-smoking related lung cancer. So I think when we look at the SOP of prevention, and we look at only high-risk lung cancer, high-risk and chest CT only for people who were smokers, I think we are going to miss out the Asian male and females who are at risk for lung cancer because of the smog. So that is where I said precision and personalization needs to come in even in prevention. The old guidelines may still be very, very old. So we need to understand what kind of prevention needs to happen in which area. Let's say, so I come from the Eastern India, and if you look at the Eastern India belt, you have very high predilection of gallbladder cancer and bile duct cancer. Why is that? What is the carcinogen? Epidemiological studies need to happen there, and we need to understand how to screen for those patients. So in that, actually, one solution appears very simple. It's wishful, but I hope that will happen very, very quickly. And that is a blood test-based cancer diagnosis. Because when you do a blood test, just like a cell phone, and how we have today the geo going in the entire India, and a small time farmer could be having a phone with a connection and could talk to someone in the US. Similarly, if there is a blood test that could be picked up from very, very small collection centers, you could still be able to answer a lot of screening questions. And the world has already moved in this direction. US has launched multiple tests. One test is called GRAIL, by a company called GRAIL. The test is called Gallery. The test is 40% sensitive. So 60% of the times you're not catching the disease, but it is now a commercially available test in the US with which they can pick up a whole host of malignancies. 70 malignancies can be picked up just by a blood test. That's a US-based test. A test by our own Indian homegrown company called Datar Genomics is now available in UK as a test called Truth Check. And we have it in India with a test called Easy Check 360. All these tests are looking at, so they have very high sensitivity rates. They have above 90% sensitivity of 70 epithelial tumors. So what they cannot catch is blood cancers. Non-epithelial tumors, they will not be able to catch. But as long as we know that, and then we involve with that in screening. Just now, they had a for glial malignancies, they could very high sensitivity to these cancers in blood. So I think novel method of prevention that are scalable and many malignancies in totality, not just one cancer or two cancers. Having said that, these tests are going to evolve, they're going to become available down the line. For now, what we have is these standard screening measures. What we need to really do is actually raise awareness, awareness in the masses so that the people are going to ask, where is my test? I think the awareness message should be so loud, clear, that the people have to come up and ask, where is my test? What test do I get? This question is to come from the consumer. That's when we will really be able to deliver. Right now, it is from us. And we are recommending, and we are saying every year you have to get this test, get that test. And that's where literally for healthy people, they don't think they can get cancer. But the real statistics, even from Globocan 2023, is very stark. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be touched by cancer in their lifetime. This is recent data. And if it is not an epidemic, better come up with arms and wage the war ASAP. Otherwise, we'll run late. So thank you. I think we are now going to be joined by our guest in the next few minutes. I hope I was able to give out some salient messages, the new things that are happening. And I think one last message I'll leave with is, if there is a symptom, we cannot sit on that. So there are people who sit on different kinds of symptoms. That's the message that we need to our patients. 2 weeks of any symptom, we need to get to the doctor for screening, and have to think cancer. We have to think cancer. That's how the orientation has to change. Thank you.
We're just waiting for a few more minutes, and I thought we could use this time to sort of discuss something which is important from prevention point of view. I mean, we have been speaking actually very generic in terms of prevention, but I was just wondering whether we have the whole team here, we could discuss, maybe a few pointers from all the patients that are attending. If we could have some preventive strategies from Dr. Marcy, lung cancer, for instance, or GI cancers, maybe Dr. Nikhilesh about big cancers. We can have few pointers. I think, of course, Madam is here from gynec cancers as well. I mean, that's a big area. I think this with the mic. So, can we have some pointers to patients? I mean, from specific cancer point of view, Dr. Marzi, do you have anything to add from lung cancer point of view? I think we can have, if you can come forward, have the mics here.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Dr. Marzi Mehta, the thoracic surgeon at the Reliance Foundation Hospital. About prevention of lung cancer, as we all know, I mean, it keeps flashing on all our movie theaters and all that. Stop smoking, stop chewing, very common. I don't know, somehow it still hasn't really made a dent. But the honest thing is that, yes, if you remove tobacco in RV format, you will absolutely kind of be safe from lung cancer. And as Dr. Sewanti rightly touched upon that, yes, we have something called as, for the smokers, at least as of now, we have something which is called as low-dose CT scan, which we are frequently doing at our place also. As usual, the awareness level is not very, very high on this aspect. But yeah, I think remove tobacco and see how lung cancer disappears over the next, I think, decade or so. That's my message. I think. Thank you. Thank you, Prasad. Thank you.
Dr. Marzi, any specific message from other oncologists for our patients as to how do we, what can we advise them from specific cancer? Even this is doctor. Okay. No. Hello. Yes, Nikhilesh, please.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Nikhilesh. I'm a surgical oncologist at Chennai Hospital. Mainly, I deal with head, neck, and breast cancer. Both are the most common cancers. In males in India, head, neck cancer, the oral cavity cancer is the most common cancer. We have the Globocan 18 as well as 2020 data. And in females, the breast cancer is the most common cancer. In head, neck, about 70% of the cancer is preventable. India is the head, neck capital of the world. Out of oral cavity cancer, worldwide, 1/3 are diagnosed. And the main reason is tobacco, alcohol, and the betel nut, sugar. So if we can prevent all this, smoking for the lung cancer, tobacco, so we should avoid this. For others, those who are not having tobacco or tobacco, also they have to be careful that any sharp is not hitting anywhere, any ill-fitting denture or a cap. They should immediately go to the dentist and show it, get it filed. Because if we see patients who have some reason, there will be one patient who will have this oral cavity hygiene which is not proper, some sharp which is hitting and causing cancer. These are preventable. For breast cancer prevention, need a healthy lifestyle. Most are estrogen responsive, which where the estrogen is manufactured in the fat apart from the ovary. So what we recommend is regular exercise, avoid alcohol, avoid weight gain, maintain a healthy diet. So these three things will prevent about 1/3 of the breast cancers which we see. And as I said, head neck, about 60%, 70% of the head neck cancers will be prevented. Thank you.
Thank you for the courage. Dr. Parishan is here. You know, so why do we do such limited screening for colorectal cancer? I'm asking a colorectal cancer surgeon.
So, perfect question on why colorectal cancer screening didn't take much vogue in India, where it's pretty rampant abroad. So, the best tool for colorectal cancer screening is a colonoscopy, little invasive test, and definitely, for our mentality, we include me as well. If I'm asymptomatic, I'm really on the backseat. Why should I do this invasive investigation? It's kind of the theory which is behind. But now, as we know, there's something called virtual colonoscopy, which is up. We are going to have the same model here, which is again less invasive and does give us a relatively more accurate findings of screening for part of the colon. So once that comes into picture, it's less invasive, and definitely we should be able to pick up more colon cancers at an earlier stage so that you don't end up with the medical oncologist. Sorry.
Pretty dreads. So that's why someone asked me which type of doctor are you? So you don't want to come to me. You don't want to come to me. You don't want my card. You don't want my number. Don't, because I know what's going to happen. As soon as I give my card, I'm like, oh. So as you grow in the profession, you realize you have the heaviest weight. And that is because of the advanced that we treat. One question I have for you, Paresh. So in the US now, you have the endoscopy, and things have become very simple or in a conflicted way, because still both invasive and non-invasive procedures happen. Why is that so? Because India is really so slow on screening colonoscopies. And I mean, I can say that because I have family in audience, and I have my parents who have still not undergone colonoscopy. So no matter what and how I try to convince them, no one really is keen on doing. So would you think in India a capsule endoscopy would sell more, would be more appreciated, accepted?
Capsule endoscopy is just for the non-medicals here. It's basically a capsule with a camera inside, you pop up things, then you are at work, at home, completely non-invasive. It is being done here in HM. We do it frequently. Again, to use it as a screening tool, it's still too naive because the sensitivity of it to catch up a polyp or stuff is not as good as compared to a colonoscopy. It's good to view the capsule is good to view the small bowel. the view within the colon is really relatively much hampered because a lot of stools. So we don't really have a lesser invasive screening tool yet, but capsule is done here, but the screening is still nice to be used for the colon. For small bowel, it does work, but not for the colon because a lot of stools present which obstruct. Exactly. That's the thing which is coming up. So hopefully that will break the ice, and definitely once that gets really well accepted, we should be able to use it as a non-invasive tool for screening.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your inputs. And since we are making our way, I think very critical to now get to Jivan and GU. So I see Dr. Shrikant Atluri there at the back. You knew the question was coming to you. So your thoughts on all GU malignancies and what to do for screening, and why don't we screen for others?
Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Shrikant Atluri. I'm the neuro-oncologist here. So, coming to the neuro-oncology, the three big cancers which I deal with are prostate cancer, bladder cancer, and kidney cancer. So apart from the primary prevention, which was discussed by Dr. Haribhakti, these cancers are usually picked up on secondary prevention. For prostate cancer, it's a simple blood test, which every man should undergo this test, which is a blood PSA test, which is called it as, and it's a simple blood test. 50 men who is about 50 years of age should undergo this test. Whenever it is elevated, you should be seeing a uro-oncologist to get it evaluated whether it's really due to the prostate cancer or not. Coming to kidney cancer, a simple ultrasound can detect the kidney cancers. Previously, kidney cancers were detected at a later stage, but now with the ultrasound and CT coming in a big role, cancer at a very early stages, so that we can have a good quality of life. Patients can achieve. Regarding bladder cancer, there is no blood test or any test which can detect bladder cancer, but it's a symptom we should not ignore any time in the life, and it is blood in urine. If you see blood in urine, you would ignore, always go to your oncologist and get it evaluated, because it is the most common sign of the having bladder cancer. Most of the people feel that, oh, because they have become old or they are having some infection, it will go off. But it's like that, there may be a bladder cancer in it, and that may cause trouble to your life in the future. So these are the three cancers which.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shrikant. Just before we receive our guest, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Preetham Katwani, who's hiding in the group because, you know, Dr. Sewanti said medical oncology for the most dreaded people. But Dr. Preetham is one of the busiest medical oncologists that we have here, and very hardworking. So thank you very much, Dr. Preetham.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if I'm hardworking or not, but I think when I started my practice 5 years back, we used to, on all Cancer Day, we used to get requests for doing talk on cancer awareness. And I'm glad that today we are talking about prevention. So in cardiology, if I just to give an we started with the treatment and now we are looking at the prevention of the cardiac diseases. I'm very glad that we have started the landmark and we are talking about the prevention of cancer. A long way ahead, but I think this is a start, and I think all of us are, or globally, people are scared about cancer. But if we talk about prevention, I hope in future we will be able to sort of prevent all the malignancies with the optimism. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just give us a minute. We'll start the next phase of the program. We'll just receive the chief guest. Just give us a minute, please.
Dear friends, it is our greatest pleasure and privilege that we have with us a gorgeous and a wonderful human being and an outstanding actor, Vidya Balan, Padma Shri Vidya Balan, to grace this day and this occasion. And so we're going to, the next part of the program will involve a few things related to World Cancer. And I would start by requesting our dynamic CEO, Dr. Taran Gyanchandani. Her support and her enthusiasm is amazing. She is there. She's always there for us. And that is a great, great motivator that helps us to actualize what we want to do. And request her to come and talk to us.
Dear Vidya ji, Dr. Haribhakti, Dr. Sewanti, and all of you here, all the delegates, and all our patients who have taken treatment at our hospital, and the staff, a very, very good evening to all of you. And today is a very, very important day, which marks for all of us to take a pause and reflect back. It's a World Cancer Day. Cancer have a tip of the iceberg phenomenon. What does that mean? It means that very often the symptoms of cancer, they are not obvious or present until the disease has progressed to a very late stage where it affects the quality adjusted life years. This year, the theme of World Cancer Day, declared by the Union for International Cancer Control, is Bridge the Care Gap. We at Sir H.E. Reliance Foundation Hospital are a quaternary cancer care center where we are committed to oncoscience from the very start indeed. Oncology is an area of major emphasis for all of us. According to the data shared by the Global Cancer Statistics, the Global Plan, female breast cancers have surpassed lung cancers as the most commonly diagnosed cancer, with an estimated 2.3 million cases every year, followed by lung cancer, colorectal, prostate, and stomach. While lung cancer remains the leading cause for cancer deaths, with an estimated 1.8 million deaths, followed by colorectal, liver, stomach, and female breast cancers. In India, as per the National Cancer Registry Program of ICMR, the number of new cancer cases is almost 1.3 million. The maximum pool is of oral cancers for the male and the breast and cervical cancers in the female. 2/3 of them are already in advanced stages at the time of diagnosis. The recent trends have shown a growing focus on the screening for early detection and prevention. These screening tests are simple. It just needs awareness, which we all have to come together and spread. For example, mammography screening has shown to reduce the breast cancer deaths by 20 to 50% in women over the age of 50. In a large study conducted by the National Cancer Institute, women who were screened regularly had a 29% lower risk of dying from breast cancer than the women who were not screened. Similarly, for colorectal cancer screening, the deaths gets reduced from the disease by up to 60% if they are picked up at an early stage. A study published by the Journal of National Cancer Institute also found that individuals who are screened regularly had 15% lower risk of dying from colorectal compared to those who were never screened. Early screening, as we all know, offers several advantages. Early detection, better outcomes, more treatment options, lesser anxiety, and of course, last but not least, lower cost. From prevention, palliative care, we all in the healthcare fraternity need to address it together in a holistic way. Increasing access to screening, addressing the health disparities through the targeted outreach and education, enhancing patient-provider communication, and investing in research for the development of new treatments and therapies that are more effective and accessible to all patients. Most institutions worldwide focus, unfortunately, on only treatment. With our focus, Sir H. Reliance Foundation Hospital, we would like it to be sharp, focused on not only the treatment, but a holistic approach from preventive to palliative. To ensure that we provide enough options for cancer prevention, we work on a very robust healthcare checkup packages to ensure that we could detect all the types of cancer as much possible as we can at an early stage. Along the lines of that, we have now introduced a whole body genomic sequencing in our health checkups. That will not only screen the whole body for any genetics which are predisposing us for cancer, but will also integrate it with the imaging as well as the laboratory investigations to ensure that we know our risks and we know our risk precisely. To summarize, the theme Bridge the Care Gap involves a holistic approach with early identification of at-risk conditions through preventive strategies. Through awareness campaigns and increasing availability and cost-effective utilization of the existing screening modalities and using the advanced technology, I'm sure that we will all be able to achieve the desired outcomes and have more and more people diagnosed at an early stage so that they can be made cancer-free as possible. Our motto in this respect will be to prevent cancer and preserve it. With this, I would really like to thank Vidya ji for her presence here for this cause and also help us to enhance the awareness about this disease, which today's world is worse than any epidemic or pandemic. So thank you so much for being with us. And thank you so much, Dr. Haribhakti, as a director, as a leader for Opera Science, to ensure that we not only develop the best of the treatment modalities, but also focus this disease in a holistic way. For all of us who know, and for all of us who are not aware, but Dr. Haribhakti is one of the leading surgeons, not only in our country, but internationally, for the oral cancer, which causes the maximum mortality. So thank you so much for being a savior to so many. And thank you so much, everyone. So let's come together and make our motto and make the pledge of this World Cancer Day a reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tarang, for your inspiring words. Let's continue with, let's start with the lamp lighting. We'll start with the lamp lighting, which will be followed by unveiling the booklet that we have prepared on the occasion. So may I please request everyone, Dr. Sewanti, thank you very much. Can we have the books for the unveiling? Yeah, before that, we're going to have a short audiovisual, which has been prepared really nicely. So can we just sit there so that we can see it also? Yeah, we can, yeah.
Left, center, right. Hold. One more safety, look camera. I want a solo picture.
So thank you very much, everyone, for being with us and sharing with us this important moment. And now, if you can, yeah, let people see. So now we come to a very important part of our program, and which is an address by Padma Shri Vidya Balan. Let me introduce her, not just as a most known, but also as a most loved and respected actor in Bollywood. She's regarded as a powerhouse of talent and is also hailed as the pioneer in changing the face of women representation in Bollywood. I think all of us know this, and it has been acknowledged variously with a national award for, I think, Dirty Picture, 7 Filmfare Awards, 6 Screen Awards, and several others. The most important being the Padma Shri, which, as you know, happens to be the 4th most important civilian award in the country. So pioneering a change in the concept of a Hindi film heroine, Vidya Balan is referred to as the first female hero of modern times. She's credited with ushering in female-centric cinema in Bollywood and is one of the only actresses in India who have been able to garner both critical as well as commercial success for films such as Dirty Picture, Ishtia, Tumhari Sulu, with so many more to add. More recently, I saw Shakuntala Devi, which really blew me away, and Mission Mangal. So you know, I'm a great fan of yours also. so now, besides carving her name in the path-breaking work in cinema, she's also regarded for the humanitarian causes that she has supported very generously and liberally over the years. Her contributions in the area of sanitation, education, and women empowerment have not only been hugely effective, but highly inspirational. So I won't stand between you and the one and only Vidya Balan.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Haribhakti, Dr. Tarang, Dr. Bhujan Pai, Dr. Shiva, Dr. Sewanti, and to all of you present here, a very good evening. You know, it almost seems like I've been given an opportunity to say thank you to the doctors and the staff at Reliance Hospital with today's invitation. Because someone very dear to me was diagnosed with cancer a few months ago, and it obviously took us all by surprise and shock. I think it takes cancer is so dreaded and there's so much stigma associated with cancer that you always imagine the worst. And that doctor said, you know, cancer is preventable, and I wish we all undertook tests from time to time to make sure that we are keeping cancer at bay. And if there is a cancer, then we're getting it treated early on. And I think all this is possible because there is so much fear and stigma associated with cancer. I know most people, even when they're experiencing symptoms, like body changes, or they a lot of times don't want to, consider the possibility that it might be cancer. It's because fear is so huge, and they don't get timely tests done, and that only, I think, aggravates the situation. So, without going into details, I just want to say that, firstly, Dr. Bujang, I cannot even begin to tell you how grateful I am to you for having stood by our family, and not just our family. I know we've sent so many people to you over the years, and whether people across socioeconomic strata, and you've served everyone with the same kind of care and concern. And thank you, and God bless you for that. And like I said again, Dr. Mohan Menon is not here today, but he's someone else I'd like to thank. Dr. Himanshu, they've all been wonderful through this process of treatment that my dear one has been receiving here. But when through these past few months, a few things have come to light for me. Even for me, cancer was, something that doesn't happen to anyone I know. So I didn't want to know any more about it. If anyone said cancer, I just shut myself to it. But because it happened to someone who's so dear to me, I've seen the process of ups and downs that cancer entails. And I've realized that, one, there is no awareness because there's so much stigma. We don't want to make ourselves aware. We don't want to, there's been so much medical advancement. Most of the cancers are preventable today. A lot of them are fully curable, and all that is great news. But we don't even want to, engage with that, because cancer seems like, I guess, like TB was in the 30s or AIDS was in the 80s. It was something that you just don't want to think about, But I think that we, while early detection and all that will help prevent cancer, or will help with better treatment, I think what we're not acknowledging is a contribution to the creation of cancer in the body. I'm speaking from a layman's point of view. But am I right, doctor? Because I think, our lives are so hectic. We also, at times when we're feeling unwell, there are so many pressures on us that we keep telling ourselves, yeah, I'm going to get started later. This happened to someone very dear to me, which is what I'm saying. He was traveling the world and he kept saying, no, but I have to go on this tour. When I come back and do it. When he came back with something else, until, the signs were very, very clear. The signs were clear that there was something wrong, and then action had to be taken. So, and thankfully in this case, I have to say that he's been responding to treatment very well and is well on the way to recovery, inshallah, full recovery. But the point I think that we're making today is that all of that can be prevented or at least mitigated if we take action in time. And I also feel very strongly about one thing which I'm going to share with you. I know that HN Reliance is doing great work in every area, but I was wondering if there is any way in which, a hospital like HN Reliance can engage with corporates to make sure that regular testing for various cancers happens for their employees. Because what happens then is, one, it's beneficial to the employee and also to the employer. And also, because if someone is dealing with something like this, you also figure how to support that person. Because a lot of times what happens is when someone is detected with cancer, the person feels pushed under the bus because suddenly everything in their life changes. And honestly, it does not have to change. So I think we need to really work towards getting rid of that stigma associated with cancer. It does not have to be as scary as it sounds. It is not as scary as it sounds. So prevention, taking care of stress, and building awareness. I think, and this is only a layman talking, doctor. I hope you don't mind me, waxing eloquent about this, but I just feel very passionately about this. So I think all of this will help us in moving towards a cancer-free society. I hope someday it is like AIDS is today or TB is today. Even if you have a cancer, it's a big deal. So and for all those who are going through treatment, cancer treatment here or elsewhere, for all those who are here, I wish you the very best. I wish you a complete recovery. I wish you and your family lots of strength. And a big thank you to the oncology department at Reliance Hospital and to all the doctors and the staff here. God bless you all. More power to you.
Thank you so much, Vidya. Those were very spontaneous and I should say inspirational words, because when you speak about stress, I think I saw my dear wife who's sitting in the first row, responding to that, and it's because she sees what I go through every day. But yeah, I think it is true. I mean, I would agree that we all need to look after stress in addition to all the other things that we've talked about. So that's a very useful thing. So before we move on to the next, I just thought I would quickly recognize a few individuals this evening, and I think it's important to do that, because then all of us may not. So I want to first thank Dr. Bhujanpai for having got Padma Shri Vidya Balan with us. I think it is it's been a great privilege to have her, and so thank you very much for that. I want to thank Dr. Sewanti I see in the first row, Mrs. Priya Dutt, and thank you so much for being here. And it's going to be a wonderful panel discussion that we'll soon engage in. I want to thank each and every one of you who has come here today. I think it takes courage, and it takes, I think, a lot of patience to realize that this is an effort that is going to pan out correctly. Prevention is one of those abstract things which you don't know. Like you said, you thought cancer was there. It was not. It's not my thing. So yes. So I think I appreciate that in each one of you to have come here, and I would really solicit your support for this cause. So let's get on to the next very, very important and interesting part of the evening. And I would request Dr. Sewanti Limaye to come on stage, and she will conduct a panel discussion, which we hope will engage everybody. There are designated panelists. At the same time, everyone is encouraged to stand up, ask questions, participate. And I think one group of people I really, really want to appreciate are the people who have taken their treatment with us at this hospital. And I see them in the audience. I really thank them for being here. This is a day of celebration. More power to you, more courage to you. And let's hope we can serve everybody well. So let's get on with,
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. I'll just start. So very good evening again. Actually, I'm just going to be upfront and we'll try to do the moderation with as much energy as we heard the interim discussion and presentation. So we have here Mrs. Priya Dutt graced us this evening for the panel discussion, and we're really truly honored for your presence. And I can't say enough for the work that you've done throughout, through Nargis Dutt Foundation and beyond, and the person that you are. So truly an honor for you to have joined us. Of course, in your political career, you have been a public person and you have touched millions of lives. But I think as a cancer warrior, you have also distinguished yourself and also carried the cause of the family above and beyond the routine. We look up to Nargis Dutt Foundation. I was just telling Mrs. Vidya Balan outside that the first time I met her was in the year 2008 when I was a chief fellow in New York, Long Island Jewish, Albert Einstein. And she was walking the ramp for Nargis Dutt Foundation. And my professors had been given the Outstanding Oncology Award from Indian origin, recognized by Nargis Dutt Foundation. So thank you for doing this exemplary work for the people and as well as for the people who are a voice in oncology. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming at such a short notice. Just says speaks for the person that you are. So Priya, I would like to welcome you to please come here on the dais. Then we have Dr. Jagmeet Madan facing us. Dr. Madan is the National President of Indian Diabetic Association, and thank you so much, Dr. Madan, for coming. Please have a seat. Then we have our own Dr. Ashish Contractor. Ashish. Okay, no problem. We have Dr. Avinash D'Souza. Thank you so much, Dr. D'Souza, for joining us this evening. Dr. D'Souza is a consultant psychiatrist, very renowned one in that, and we are truly honored to be graced by him. Ashish is right here, right in time. Friend, always there when we are in need. Thank you, Dr. Ashish Contractor, he's the director of our Sports Medicine and Rehabilitation Center at Sir Reliance Foundation Hospital. Thank you, Ashish, for gracing us. And of course, this seat will go to the leader of our center, Dr. Vijay Haribhakti. We'll just wait for him to come back and he will join and begin the panel discussion in the meantime. Dr. Vijay Haribhakti directs Center for Oncosciences. He's our leader and he is the reason why we are gathered this evening in this room with the cause that is so well described. Seeds is his slogan for the evening, and prevention is the goal. Prevention of cancer and prevention make us live long, forever, happy and healthy. So with that, I would like to begin the panel discussion with some of the salient messages that each one of you will bring to us and the viewers. Those are here, raised by the audience in the room as well as those online. So I will actually begin with Dr. Ashish Contractor. I'm going to do my mic.
Thank you.
All right. So one of the biggest challenges we have today is how do we maintain a healthy lifestyle? How do we conduct our lives in a way where we can prevent cancer? So the question to Dr. Ashish Contractor here is, as he is a leader of a division where they propagate healthy lifestyle and lifestyle changes to really bring halo to our lives, I would like to hear from him what are his thoughts for maintaining good health, maintaining weight, and increasing our capacity, not just during a regular life following, but also beyond, which is where we come in as oncologists. So primarily for prevention, and then if the patient comes, how do we then pitch a healthy lifestyle, take this cause in the right direction? Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Limaye, for having me here, and you asked a lot of questions. So give me 3-4 minutes to
Please,
answer them.
all yours.
So if we look at physical activity, not only for cancer, I think for pretty much any chronic disease that ails us today, which is cancer, which is heart disease, stroke, diabetes, etc., it's proven without doubt that physical activity and exercise, and both are not the same thing, but they're similar, effective not only in preventing the onset of these diseases, but also if someone is unfortunate enough to have suffered, it helps in the treatment and rehab process. Brush up my numbers on the way over to the meeting itself. I just looked at the latest cancer.org website statistics, and something like 26 different forms of cancer have shown that the incidence is lower in those who are physically active. So this is group data, and the big ones are breast cancer, colorectal cancer, bladder cancer, prostate cancer. So all of these, it's been shown that those who are physically active have lower incidence of having cancer. Now, the thing that people ask us is not what's the maximum we can do to get benefit. People want to know what's the minimum we can do to sort of get away from it or not to have it. And I think the answer is actually quite hard. You don't need to do a lot to get results. And the guideline is about 150 minutes of moderate intensity physical activity a week, which could be 30 minutes 5 days a week of brisk walking, or 25 minutes into 3, so 75 minutes of higher intensity, for example, running, playing a game a week, which is not very difficult to get. So these are the minimum guidelines to get benefits from physical activity. They're quite easy to achieve. Now, this is from a prevention angle. To answer it from a post-event angle, from rehab angle, I think today, thanks to the kind of work that you are doing and your colleagues are doing in precision oncology, we heard at TARS a few weeks back, Mr. Sanjay Dutt speaking about how that sort of saved his life. More and more people are living today.
Yes.
Right? The first challenge when you hear the C word is, oh, will I live? And I think as we've gotten better in surgery, as we've gotten better in radiation, as we've gotten better in chemotherapy, precision therapy, people are living longer. But are they living a better quality of life, which is the question to answer. And I think that's where physical activity comes in. And the whole lifestyle, which includes physical sort of health, mental health, nutrition, diet, all of it comes in together to make the person live a better quality of life from the years of life that you've given them. And again, it's not very difficult. You don't need a lot. The first thing is just literally getting off the chair, taking the first few steps. So it's not very hard, and I give kudos to our oncologists, surgeons, radiation therapists who are very proactive in sending the patients, and we actually see it. This year we had the Mumbai Marathon, and for the first time we had a group of cancer survivors who sort of took part, and I think they send a very positive message. So to cut a long story short, get physically active is going to help you both prevent cancer and a great form of therapy if, God forbid, you have disease.
Great. I think very well described, both from prevention as well as during treatment. And I will like to acknowledge here the kind of work that you and your division is doing, not just to propagate healthy lifestyle, but also for our patients during therapy. That's one division that works shoulder to shoulder with the patients while they're in treatment to help and really raise their quality of life and give them valuable time even as they battle one of the most dreaded and difficult diseases in this world as of today. Thank you for the work that you do. Truly, it comes from the heart. My next question is, of course, diet and exercise go together. So I have to ask the next question, Dr. Madan. So when we talked to, when we came back to India, actually, I'd like to bring the text in. One of the most important things for the patients, and again, because I am an oncologist, I'm on the other side. The topic today is prevention, so I'll bring you there. But my lenses are clouded. I will always look at the topic from an oncologist's lens. So when I meet with patients, mostly the question is, kya kha sakte hain? What is it that I can eat? This is for people who are already diagnosed during therapy, and also for the ones who complete treatment and are looking for secondary prevention so that the cancer does not come back. And so I put this question forward to you. This is the most obvious questions.
So very good evening to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Haribhakti, Dr. Limaye, Dr. Ashish, for making me a part of this conversation.
Of course.
I think I know the people sitting on the dais, and I've interacted with them very closely, individually and institutionally. Dr. Limaye, as a nutritionist, I vouch for a statement that preventive nutrition is far more stronger than curative nutrition. You very rightly said that when one person, you're meeting from a family, which is showing the family history of cancer, I think proactive steps by the other members can really prevent the progression. So it's something like that I don't have to wait for a person to become a diabetic and then start, talking about the diet. And today, science of nutrition has advanced so much that I can make a checklist of food. We say food can work as medicine, provided you use it like a medicine. How do you use a medicine? It's a specific component. You quantify it, you define the frequency, and you take it. It becomes medicine. Today, if I make a checklist of everyday foods, and I quantify it, and I define the frequency, and I say, this is what you need to take every day. This is my medicine. And believe me, I'm talking from experience, that your food can work as a medicine and it can give magical results, provided you're talking to your body all the time. So today, with the advancement of science of nutrition, the physiologically active components have been identified, quantified. We know their therapeutic level. So the canvas of nutrition working can be from generic to specific. So on one side, I can talk generic for prevention. On the other side, I can work on precision nutrition and customize the diet for the person with whom I interact.
Wonderful.
So that's the canvas on which we work. And what I'm very heartened today is, I must have trained 2 generations of nutritionists in this country. And I'm so proud, the person who's heading the nutrition department here is my student.
Wow.
And the ones who are sitting here, some of them just met me.
They are also students of my own institution.
Fantastic.
So training credible nutrition professionals is the biggest contribution I think which our fraternity has to do. And what I feel is in today's time, nutrition science can really give back to the community. And we don't have to make things very complicated. We have to make things simple, because I feel Indians need to understand nutrition very simply. Something which they can relate to, something which they can apply to. Because when we want to prevent something, it has to be relatable across socioeconomic strata, across ethnic groups. And it's possible. It's possible. So we have a huge fraternity of nutrition and dietetics. And as a national president of IDA, we have 25 chapters across India. So we have penetration in 25 states of India. And we have credible professionals across the country who can reach out, who can leverage this kind of dissemination in a massive way. So I think
that's actually amazing. And I would like to take that thought and say we need to figure out cancer nutrition and create equal number of chapters and more, considering you all have already done so much for diabetes and really had a huge impact. I hope that we will be able to bring such an impact in onco-nutrition as well.
So Dr. Limaye, I just want to add one more keyword here. In today's time, in this country, I think nutrition literacy should be a fundamental right of every citizen. And it has to start from, the time when the kid enters the school. We can't be talking of nutrition when we have reached a stage when we are just maintaining ourselves. So we have to talk that language to our kids when they enter the school, and you'll be very happy to know we are working on a module which is called Foundation Food Literacy Program. It's something like how you teach a child ABC, then you teach the child how to make a word, then you say how you make a sentence. So that's how nutrition can be taught from the time the child enters the school, and you can grade it at different level and relate it to what the child is eating. So, the moment you empower people, I think education is already happening. So this is the empowerment which we all have to commit to as a fraternity. And today I feel we can't work in silos.
Absolutely.
We have to work as a team. And all the people who are sitting here are the team members.
Exactly. So this is all by design.
We need to come together. And what I'm most heartened is today nutrition is a national priority. It's a national mandate. And when things become a national mandate, there is a political will. And when there's a political will, actions happen faster. So today we have the Allied Health Council bill coming, wherein we are wanting to regulate professionals. I think these are all efforts in the very right direction. But I think what we are talking today is that how do we get the prevention message across?
So I think what you've said is we can't work in silos. We have to, and it all goes hand in hand. Prevention cannot be about just me and Dr. Haribhakti and Dr. Prasad, Dandekar and the room here saying prevent, prevent, prevent. It is about lifestyle changes. It's about the diet. It's about the exercise. And it's also, so we talked about what we should do. Now we're going to talk about what we should not do. And that's where I would request Dr. D'Souza's guidance here. So I think you were just entering the room when I was talking about cancer, causation, carcinogens, and that we have to study all these things. But saying is very easy. There are people who are dependent for their lives. And how should we assist in really trying to prevent these carcinogens from becoming a habit, and if they are a habit, how could we help out in preventing that habit to continue? Because it's not just about primary prevention, it's also secondary once the patient, once the person is already labeled.
Well, I think as mental health professionals, we deal a lot with people who consume substances.
Right.
And we get a lot of people who are referred to us here in the hospital who are smoking for many years. And A, they're at a risk for cancer. B, they're detected with cancer. So they now have to give up smoking or give up tobacco chewing. The main factor is the patient's motivation. I mean, I can prescribe something, counsel him, but his own motivation is the main factor. And many a times it's very tough, but we call it once, twice, thrice, and Mesbin works with us on that team. And we slowly make inroads. We first try and reduce the consumption by half, then to third, and bring it down to from 30 cigarettes to 2 a day. And then the last year was the most difficult to do. So we push till we reach the other end of the tunnel. What's also important is the frustration of the relative while all this is happening.
Right.
And so we have to give them hope, give them optimism, give them resilience, and tell them there is a cure ahead, there is a way out. And the most important factor here is we also have a group of patients who come to us who have not had a history of cancer, but someone in their family develops cancer, and they come preventive mode that what is my risk, and they're anxious, they get a hell of a lot of tests done, everything is negative, but they still feel, they keep going to different doctors, doing different tests, and finally one of the doctors tells them, I think you're psychologically ill, you need to go to a psychiatrist, you don't need cancer specialists, and then they come to us, and these are the ones which many people label as being having health anxiety. And
right.
They come to us, and our job is to counsel them, allay their fears. It's, I would say, very successful. I would say we have a 50% success rate. We always have 50% failure rate, but we don't give up. So I always tell them, I won't give up. I'll keep calling you, I'll keep talking to you, and someday we'll reach somewhere. But I think my biggest, preventive message from a mental health perspective is stress and cancer are linked, or depression and cancer are linked, anxiety and cancer are linked. So I tell people in the end, in life, only three things matter: how much you live, how much you laugh, and how much you love.
Wow, very well said. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've heard from Dr. D'Souza, we heard from Dr. Madan, we also heard from Dr. Contractor, and we heard about prevention. We heard about lifestyle changes to prevent the disease condition. We also heard about what's not to be done, how to get rid of that. And now I'm trying to come to you for the larger cause. And actually, I put a context to this by bringing up, and this is much discussed and talked about, and we are all aware that the family has tackled cancer in different generations. First with Madam Mom, and now henceforth we just also heard from Sanju. And I have realized, has been one of the most responsible family members, really bearing the torch in a very, very different way. But that's just the family. I present that context only for a personal angle to the Nargis Dutt Foundation. And then there is this larger cause that you have served throughout your life. I've heard as you grew up, you took the charge. And of course, the public service through Sir, your father, and then you taking up the torch and being a political flag bearer, running that responsibility, then also the responsibility of being a torch bearer from Nargis Dutt Foundation and the kind of service you all have done. And coming to the current efforts that I keep hearing about regarding screening, how do you think things have evolved over the last several decades in terms of cancer prevention? Have we done anything in India? Are we doing? Are we motivated? What is your take? And is there hope?
Thank you so much, Sewanti, Dr. Haribhakti, to have allowed me to come here and speak about.
Of course, we are honored for your time.
And so, very good question, Dr. Limaye, is that how do I see cancer screening or cancer care that has evolved? And I'm talking as a layperson, not as a doctor and an expert in this, but I've seen it right from 1981 when my mom was in. When she was detected here with cancer, there was nothing anyone knew. And the doctors themselves said that you better take her to the US because we won't be able to treat her here. And that's when we had to move her to the US for treatment because that was the option available. And we were very fortunate that we were able to take her to the US. And how many people really had that opportunity or that resource to take their loved ones to the US? And from there on, the thought came from my mother herself when she said that, why have you brought me here? How do you have brought me here? Only because you have the resource. She was very upset with my father. He said, what must be happening to the millions of people in the country who don't have that access? So that thought brought about the Dandekar Foundation. And it was thanks to the Indian community actually in the US who had supported my parents emotionally a lot in that 1 year because my father was alone in a place not knowing anyone. And they set up the Dandekar Foundation US chapter. And we started our work in India. And that time, it was only donating cancer care equipment, cancer diagnostic equipment, and cancer treatment equipment to various hospitals all over India. So we equipped nearly 110 hospitals in rural India with cancer care equipment. One of the first was Tata Memorial, which didn't have an ICU there. And the first ICU was set up by the Dandekar Foundation. And it's named the Dandekar ICU. So, and then the Barsi Hospital, which is a rural hospital, very tiny hospital, and today it's become the biggest research center for the rural community. So it started off like that. And as we went ahead, we realized that today India has developed so much. We have the best hospitals, we have the best equipment, we have the best doctors. I don't think there's a dearth of treatment. If I had a choice today, like we did with my brother, I would rather get him treated here than take him anywhere else in the world. And that's what we did, and we don't regret it at all. And but with that come a lot of challenges as well. With everything available, cost of treatment has increased tremendously. So how many people really have access to that kind of treatment? So we've been seeing this change happening over the years, and we've seen the best medicines and precision therapy, which really helped my brother, and I know it can help so many other patients, but can they afford it? So affordability becomes the biggest question today where cancer treatment is concerned. And then we, figured that how do we kind of really break through that barrier of treatment? And we've been speaking to so many doctors, and every doctor says, by the time the patient comes to us, they're in the last stage, they're in the fourth stage. Cancer is spread all over their body. So treatment costs obviously go really high. Now I'm talking about patients who are really poor patients who are in rural areas who really don't even have access to detection, diagnosis. So if you're not diagnosed with cancer, you will obviously come in a very late stage because you will really start feeling that problem in your body. You will have festering wounds, or you will have to go to a doctor. But otherwise, there is no detection centers in rural India. There is no detection methods. And the word cancer has become so fearful that if I tell, like we do a lot of detection camps all over India, in the rural areas. And the biggest challenge we face is that when we have a camp with say cancer, they won't come. You know, nobody will want to come for the camp. So initially we said, you know, cancer ka pura checkup hoga yahan. We don't want to come. We have to go to every home in the village to bring people out that please come. So we changed the whole method and we made it a mega health camp. So under the guise of the health camp, we had all the 3 tests done of cervical, oral, breast, and prostate for cancers. And along with that, we had the diabetes test, the blood test, and you know the basics. We feel very happy about it. So that's how we started making inroads into, you know, the grassroots, rural India, and things started really progressing. And along with the camp, we started awareness, a little bit of an awareness about what cancer. You shouldn't fear it. You know, things can be better. You know, if detect ho jata hai, so immediately treatment bhi ho jayegi. So we hold the hand of patient in case there's a detection, right to their treatment.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that anchoring is most critical.
That's most important. It's not about just doing the camp and saying, you know, saying that, oh, I've done so many camps and I've seen thousands of patients. That's the simplest thing to do. But what happens when you actually have a patient in the camp, where you're detected with cancer and the patient requires more diagnosis, requires more tests? We have to ensure that the patient goes through that whole thing. It goes through, you know, the next step and the next step and then finally treatment. So we ensure that. So it's really been wonderful, you know, for us, even in the grassroots level. We are also looking at corporates, because corporates, you know, we've been making inroads into corporates saying on a very nominal cost, we will do checkups for your business.
Right.
You know, and we've got a very good response on that because employees don't want to do it themselves. So the whole idea is we have to take the doctor to them. They are not going to go to the doctor.
Wow. Never thought of it that way.
So there is such a stigma and there is so much fear that, you know, cancer ho gaya, that means it's khatam. And it's word of mouth also, Sewanti, because so many people from all over India come to Tata Memorial. It could be one child from a village, one person from a village. He'll go back and say, kya halat hai yahan? You know, rehne ki jagah nahi hai, kuch nahi hai, you know, kharcha itna hota hai. So it's like word of mouth, it scares them even more. And so this is a huge challenge which I think we have to work towards. And like ma'am said, nothing can be done in isolation. There has to be a partnership. You know, and a partnership with NGOs like ours, partnership with the government, partnership with pharmaceutical companies who can come together and somehow reduce cost of treatment, somehow, you know, create an outreach program. I think there are a lot of NGOs who are willing to work on grassroots level. They need the support, and so they can really make inroads into these areas of work.
Wonderfully said. And actually, it just comes so naturally from you because this is lifetime's work. This is lifetime's experience, lifetime's work. The last I was trying to connect with you for the 11th January event. You were actually in the US trying to do fundraising for Nargis Dutt Foundation. So I think this is a passion that you live every day. And the reason to talk to you before I went to serve was mainly to get a curtain raiser on the prevention strategies that you follow from the lenses of a family who went into this foundation because of a personal story. So, of course, it was the cancer journey, the suffering, the living, and the door, an insight as a family into that, and then really wishing to reduce borders, bring funding, do work in areas to prevent the disease from happening. And in that process, also serving the cancer community in anchoring the treatments, in anchoring, I mean, I've interacted with you so many times about a young patient where you are trying to arrange funding for the treatment, and I've seen cases where immunotherapy would have been given and we have not been able to give, and all of that. And it's very daunting. I hear it from someone who's really doing it on the ground. I mean, I'm in a corporate setup. Of course, I'm delivering care, and that is also equally daunting. But to really go out there where the resources are so limited and not be, have the limitation, live with the limitation every day is a very different kind of challenge that I think you and the foundation and the family has been faced with lifelong. I will actually come to Sir and then come back to you, Priya, through Sir, because I have a question like that. So, first of all, Sir, many congratulations for this event. Thank you.
Like everyone has said, this cannot be done by an individual. It is all teamwork. So thank you for acknowledging, but I want to acknowledge back.
Thank you. But just as I said earlier, how did you think of prevention as the goal? I really, so I said you are a thinker, and that's why you thought of this. That is your area of work, right? Your area of work as a cancer, world-renowned, eminent cancer surgeon is to serve a cancer patient. Why would you think at this time to have a longitudinal goal? This is not just this event. He has said it's longitudinal goal that he wishes to pursue. At this time, what motivated you? How did you come to think of this?
To be brutally honest, having been a surgeon for so many years and done so much of cancer surgery and such major work, and Dr. Pravai, others here, we do so many cases together. And we struggle, we really struggle. And through our tumor boards, how we struggle with patients. We are looking desperately for a way to help them. And that's what makes me feel, okay, fine, we have honed our talents and we continue to learn and we try to do what best we can for the patient. But clearly, isn't it much, much better if we actually make ourselves redundant in a sense? Why would a person have to undergo such massive surgery, such, often very intense suffering, when it is possible to just not have it? So I've always felt this right through that we need to. Whereas, of course, we can focus our efforts on those that are not preventable. We focus our efforts, but I think we spend such a disproportionate amount of time treating preventable cancer. I think it takes away from. It really takes away from what we can really offer to the entire world of cancer patients. Because, just think about it. If we didn't have smoking, we wouldn't have had even a fraction of the lung cancer. Or practically, if we had no chewing, then we wouldn't have any of the mouth cancers, which are reaching. So I think it's really that realization. Okay, you're going to be good at what you do and give them quality and pursue that. If you really take a step back, how about making sure that nobody gets it in the first place?
So that's why I said it's a thinker that came out with this goal of cancer prevention. In our daily lives, we actually are battling. We are at the battlefield, and we are really trying to save lives. left, right, and center. And for us to really think prevention is pre-oncology. So now that you have walked and you've led us with this torch in your hand, my next question to you is, as being the leader of our division at the corporate center, as Mrs. Dutt just said, I see Dr. Taran just walked in. I think this is the most apt question in your presence. Ask Dr. Haribhakti, and of course you are his backup. It's still coming. So Mrs. Dutt was just conveying our work with the Reliance Foundation and how they've gone to the masses and to the community at large and motivated people for screening, and how in the community people fear the word cancer. So a lot of their camps, they're actually not labeling it as cancer screening. They're calling it mass health checkup or mega health checkup, health camp, and trying to get patients like that. But she just finished by saying we also would like to present these screening measures, work with corporates to present options. What I would extend that as the corporates as also serving some responsibility. So I was asking sir, what motivated him to take prevention as his cause longitudinally? And a segue to that question is, what role do you think as torch bearers of cancer treatment in the country and led by you, how could we play a role beyond the four walls of the center to touch the lives of the masses, not just in Mumbai, not just in Maharashtra, but the kind of people and community at large that an NGO like that foundation is serving, and many more.
I think the opportunity is truly unlimited. I don't think I even want to imagine the limits, because I think it's the question is very well put, and I think I've learned from this conversation a lot on how nutrition, what Dr. Madan said about nutrition. I think it was very revealing the way she put it across. I was amazed. I miss Dr. Contractor, unfortunately, but I really enjoyed what Dr. D'Souza said about preventing stress and how you help people get rid of these habits. So I think it's a huge opportunity, and I don't think they're limited. If you ask me, I would want that we reach out to just about all those people who are willing to receive this kind of awareness, and also try to spread it to those people who are perhaps trying to keep it at an arm's length. Because ultimately we all realize this country just cannot afford an escalating incidence of cancer, and it's happening. We know the estimates are that by about 2050 it's going to be epidemic proportions if it continues this way. So I think we've got to wake up and do something, and we face, people want to stay away from a cancer detection. So we've got to keep in mind all those mental blockages and all those things, and also, as Vidya Balan said, see, it's very, very easy for people to just shut it out somewhere, and not think about it. But I think bringing it out and talking about it, talking about it is important for everyone. So I feel it's a somewhat, it sounds like an abstract thing that we've undertaken, but I feel the opportunity and I think the possibility of contribution is massive. I really feel if we can if you can even in a segment of the population bring down incidence or enhance treatment outcomes by catching them early, I mean, I think it'll be the biggest validation of my career. No doubts about it.
Fantastically said. I mean, I'm truly enamored by the thought, and I feel your passion is going to drive us all, because as I said, this is pre-cancer, and all our attention has always been in treating early stage cancer, late stage cancer, but to put the energy in the area that you have chosen to, that Mrs. Dutt has been serving her life. The three champions sitting here are also representing. I think we have come a long way just by putting it out there on the table as our goal now and in the future. I just want to invite Dr. Tarang to make a comment as a center leader. What are your views? What are your thoughts on this goal that Dr. Haribhakti sir has chosen?
I think as healthcare institutions, the most important thing for all of us is to look at prevention. And it's not only prevention of cancer, but I think it's the well-being of the masses, which will also move towards prevention. So I think in most of India, or actually in most of the world, we only focus on the technological advancement, the research based on for the treatment. But I think the focus has to be on why treatment is required. So let's nip it in the bud. Let's find out ways to detect it early, and also not only detect it early. Actually, the world has, Dr. Sewanti, moved towards more on precision medicine, which is like you also identify what are you at risk for, and then you work towards it. There is one thing which our parents gave us, the genes, and if there's something which we enhance with those genes through the lifestyle that we follow and make them converted to a heart disease or a diabetes or a cancer. So I think the world has to now move towards how we can divert the research to change what our genetic makeup has given to us, and also how to avoid those environmental factors which can actually put genetic plus environmental factor is equal to diabetes, heart disease, cancers, and whatnot. So I think as the institutions of future, the focus has to be on prevention more than on treatment.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And precision prevention is going to be the buzzword. Hopefully from our center, it's really going to be representative of the goals, and we don't just want to touch the community within our system, the community that serves our center or that we serve, but we also want to carry this message above and beyond into the masses, into the community at large. I think I'm all out of time for my panel discussion, but each one of you very graciously contributed to the goal development, and this is just the beginning. I would like to acknowledge each one's contribution to the discussion, and a very big thank you for structuring and creating a vision to the cause. I would just take a moment to acknowledge our patients, who are the real warriors, who are the brave hearts. I have friends and patients sitting here in the crowd. I am wearing red for a patient of mine who's battling in the ICU, Shri, and this is her favorite color. So this evening from my side is dedicated to her and to my family. And I see Radhika maybe here in the crowd, and our spouses, who when we are at battlefield, stand by us through all that we are committed to. So very grateful to the leadership for backing this. And thank you very much, sir, for letting me conduct this panel discussion. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sewanti, for a wonderful panel. And thank you very much, panelists, for joining us and sparing your valuable time. I invite all of you with Dr. Tarang and Dr. Haribhakti's lead to celebrate the 8th anniversary of Radiation Oncology Department. We are really privileged to work here. We have not only the best of the technology which is available, but under Dr. Tarang's guidance, we have the best people who are available to help our patients. So this is a sort of celebration of what has happened in last 8 years and also the exciting times to come and the new upgrades that we are getting in just a matter of few weeks. So please join us outside to celebrate. Thank you. Yes, I want.